I want to start off by saying that no, it'd be better to say this first. Okay. So I thought of this fantastic thing, like a fantastic thing. And it was perfect. It was beautiful. It was going to be fucking fantastic. And every little moment of it was going to speak perfectly to what I was trying to say. And I had all these writings and images and drawings, all like perfectly illustrating the entire piece. It was all perfect. Everything was perfect. All the numbers, everything. But then once I finished doing all the math, I decided I was done with it. And that was it. And everyone was telling me that I should just make it anyways. Because I always just do that. You know, thinking like, oh, well, the image is in my brain, so it's as good as done. But I don't want to listen to everybody else. Here's a little picture of all of the research and everything and all the things that I just took a screenshot of on my desktop that I think looks really nice. And I think that's the end of it, right there. But the thing about that was really important is that I realized that that all of my work that actually physically exists is just everything that comes before the piece that I never make. And through the process of writing and drawing and creating everything I need to like plan out perfectly for this piece that will read perfect is already in existence, and that all of that is the piece. So I am going to try and figure out what it is that I need to do for myself to actually somehow get to a point where I can display those correctly while talking about the art world in a larger sense. Now going back to where I could have started. I, at this point, consider myself to be a writer that does drawings to organize my thoughts. Even though most people see my work and think that it's like a sculpture or a painting or something like that, I just consider them all drawings. They're just all drawings that are helping me organize the thoughts that I'm having. I work really conceptually, but I really like long for clarity, which I think within my process of like figuring everything out and then getting to the point of where this thing needs to exist, I think that's where the problem is that actually there's a perfect quote by someone that I'm using as like my mental mentor right now. Go to the last slide. John Baldassari, he said, I go back and forth between wanting to be abundantly simple and maddeningly complex. And I think that that's something that is like speaking to me a lot right now, just because I'm not really positive where it is that I'm lying, although I feel like I'm in a very good space just as an artist, not so much as a student within an institution, but as an artist. Yeah, I suppose that's all I have to say. Right now, I'm looking at a lot of different images, objects, and writings that I've done that have just really perfectly wrapped up the thing that I didn't really have to make because I had already made it. They're all, like, even my writings are all like very visual, like this one here. And a lot of things where I'm just trying to like mental map for myself just end up being really beautiful images. Like it's just like, it looks really nice, it makes sense to me, and I have lost the clarity for like where the viewer would be seeing this just because it's something that is me helping through the process of trying to get to that work. But yeah, now I'm trying to figure out just how I can even display these things with saying that that process is the important part. Like that's the emphasis, that process is the work. And just because not all of the work was, mentally done in my brain, things didn't happen physically. Just taking on that statement, like, if you have the image in your brain, the work is as good as done. Just taking that in a little bit of a different way. You know what I mean? I know that you know what I mean, because I feel like you and I work against the same way. Yeah, questions? Yes.
I totally feel where you're coming from. There's a couple artists you might check out. Crystal and Dennis Oppenheim, who basically make proposals for a living. They're very subject to large scale work, and very little of actual gets made. And so they sort of reconcile that situation by making the proposals, thinking of it as an art in case it not gets made. And so they have shows of their proposals, and they're quite remarkable. So as far as you were talking about, you don't know how crystal performance entails. They think about that a lot, and you might check them out. Their proposals are quite remarkable in the art themselves. So I got to love this.
Heck yeah.
You think it's as simple as just showing your sketchbook?
No. I don't have a sketchbook.
Can you give us examples of evidence that you created beyond these? Maybe related to what you started to talk about at the beginning.
What do you mean?
Like evidence that, like, what's in that tiny picture? What is in that?
Oh, do you want to hear about it?
Yeah.
It was going to be this large welded structure that was 4 by pieces of sand, and on that, a piece of paper that I've made with a writing that would closely relate to how atheists think what anarchists would believe they would follow but wouldn't, and also had to do with the birthing process. And on top of that would be a large 300-pound block of ice that through the process of the show would melt and go into the sides of the large welded structure. So the structure is actually acting as like a trough and would rise up to the exact level of the edge. And then it would just be the drawing existing in this like space of water. Yes.
Alyssa, I'm not exactly sure what you're proposing.
Nothing, but also maybe everything. Like all, you know.
Yeah, but then we may give you everything or potentially nothing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But it's not kind of fun.
I mean, that's, I don't know.
I don't like, if you think about, well, I'm not even going to get to that whole other thing. Yeah.
I mean, what role is the audience at all in this? Is there a need?
For the audience?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I want to talk about that, like, mainly just like the image being like in your brain of being like as good as done, but not necessarily like taking that, because that thought, which was thought in a way, in a very strange way where there actually were things that physically existed, and he was just saying that. So, you know, it's just not really fully a completely true statement, but just taking his ideas and thinking about them and just trying to sort of reach a point where I can talk about that a little bit more, because I feel like that's a statement that is confusing and kind of not really all that clear in the larger world context. It's sort of like thrown around with assumptions in people's brains, so it's like taken in different ways where. Well, yeah, I want to know what's in your brain.
Well, we're actually, if you want one more comment, we're out of time.
I'm good. We'll have one.